just watch out. And that's going to come at the taxpayer's expense. So, um, uh, but in this case, I just want to say there's no need to bring a bunch of Hollywood elites and give them a tax break so that way they can um, come to Colorado. It's completely unnecessary.
Definitely agree with you there. Totally unnecessary. This is not the proper role of government. Senate bill or House Bill 1005 is a bad bill, that's for sure. I did go ahead, Michael, and end the stream and start it over again. So hopefully that'll work. So definitely people check it out. Maybe hopefully we'll get some people jumping back in. I think there's a good chance we can get that fixed. Looks like the stream's looking a lot better now. So apologize. Don't know what happened exactly. I think it was the connection there with YouTube. Somehow it got disconnected, but nonetheless, we're back. So hopefully people are there watching us on YouTube. So perfect. So we're going to talk a little bit about the next bill. So bad bill, tax incentive for film festivals. Thanks for running us through that, Michael. House Bill 1005. Absolutely terrible bill. Bad stuff there. That's being heard this week on Thursday in the House Finance Committee on February 6th. So another bad bill coming up this week. Actually, a great bill. Really excited for this bill. Looking forward to this one. I really hope this passes. This is a common sense bill. I think that would actually help the hardworking people of Colorado. I think there's a great opportunity for the Democratic majority to show that they're actually trying to help the working class, and that's going to be House Bill 1051, the repeal recycled paper carryout bag fee. So that is a terrible bill, or a great bill, excuse me. Oh my gosh, all torn up here with that live stream issue there. But let's take a look at it. So it was terrible that our state government put us in this position before. Our state house and our state senate totally did a disservice to the people of Colorado, led by Monica Duran, the House Majority Leader, to ban free plastic bags. Free plastic bags are a staple of grocery stores. They have been for years. And it's a shame that they took that away from us, and instead gave us these recycled paper bags that just fall apart, it seems, instantly. And plus, you are legally required to pay 10 cents for each of those paper bags. So absolute garbage is not the role of government whatsoever. So I'm really happy about House Bill 1051. It's a step in the right direction. Of course, would love to see a total repeal of that law and restore free plastic bags to the good people of Colorado. But nonetheless, this bill would repeal the recycled paper carryout bag fee, repealing that 10% requirement for a paper bag. So good bill. Really hope it passes. I mean, it's such a small ask, right? It's not like it's not like these bill sponsors are asking to change the world here. They're just saying, hey, let's stop taxing people 10 cents per bag. So what do you think about this one, Michael?
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, I'm just like you. I wish we could make this a larger bill than it is, but I'm very happy that they even brought this, that our legislators brought this. Earlier, we mentioned Byron Pelton with the Kratom regulation law. You'll see here, Byron Pelton is also a sponsor. He is the Senate prime sponsor for this bill. So thank you, Senator Pelton, for bringing a fantastic bill to us to the legislature this session, and also we see Ryan Gonzalez as well as the majority leader in the House. So, or excuse me, did I say majority leader? I meant minority leader in Rose Pugliese. So, very happy to see this bill being brought forth. I just wish we had a Democrat on this thing because that would give us a greater chance of this thing passing. But we'll see what happens. I just hope that we can get some people down there to sponsor this bill because the original bill that was put in place by Rep Duran was completely unnecessary, and it's just made life harder for Coloradans.
Oh, definitely. If I'm running behind or maybe coming home from work and I just want to run to the grocery store and grab something, I feel so limited in being able to buy what I want because I know I got to carry it out there by hand. If I don't have a reusable bag on me, I don't want to pay 10 cents for a cheap paper bag that's going to fall apart. I mean, it's such an unnecessary expense. And so this bill, good bill, really encourage people to speak or reach out to the committee members. This is the Energy and Environment Committee in the Old State Library being heard this Thursday at 1 p.m. So February 6th, 1:30 p.m. Please show up, people. Please speak out in favor of this one. This is a great bill. It's moving us in the right direction. Of course, it's not as pro liberty as we'd like to hear it, but really important bill this week. And this is one of those bills that I know the both the House and the Senate Republican caucuses have been focusing on to save people money. You know, their big focus is affordability, which I love. That's what the focus of a lot of these legislators should be, is trying to make life a little bit more affordable by repealing all of these regulations, taxes, and fees that are so unnecessary on the people of Colorado. So definitely a step in the right direction with House Bill 1051, repealing the recycled paper carryout bag fee. So good stuff there. Definitely encourage people. Please show up. Please let these legislators know that they have your support. You know, House Minority Leader Puglisi, Representative Gonzalez, Senator Pelton, and any other legislator who decides to co-sponsor this bill, please give them a thank you because it's a good bill and it should pass if there was any justice in this in this state. So, also on Thursday, a bill I know a lot of people have concerns over being heard in the Local Government and Housing Committee. That's Senate Committee Room 357 at 1:30 p.m. That's House Bill 1019, the Third Party Administration of Division of Housing Programs. So, of course, you know, we liberty minded individuals, we love the idea of the private market or you know, non-governmental organizations taking care of some of the problems that the government wants to take care of. But of course, what we run into is a problem in which you have these politically connected nonprofits getting taxpayer money to address these issues that the state government itself caused. So here we go, where, you know, homelessness, yes, serious issue in Colorado. Do we really want the state government divvying out contracts to some of these NGOs, these nonprofits that are more than likely politically connected to try and solve this issue? You know, there's been talk about this homeless industrial complex where people are getting paid uh, to deal with homelessness. They don't want that problem to go away because then they're not going to get paid anymore. I mean, it's a perverse incentive. So I have some serious concerns about House Bill 1019, seeing that the state government basically, DOLA, the Department of Local Affairs, granting these third party contractors, which could be these NGOs and nonprofits, this program, basically having them run these homeless programs. And you know, where's the accountability? Where's the advocacy for the taxpayer? Not the proper role of government whatsoever. But nonetheless, you know, I have some serious concerns. What do you think, Michael?
Oh, I completely agree. I mean, I mean, and the other thing that I want to say about this bill is when you initially read it, you know, it says third party contractor. So initially your head goes, oh, maybe there's somebody who could, the government has pinpointed to run a program a little bit cheaper. You know, I mean, when you talk about saving money, we are in $1 billion shortfall, as a state. It sounds like a more efficient way to run government. So you think, okay, that's fine. But when you really get into it and you see that this is going to allow NGOs who are politically connected to get that money, I mean, it becomes a real problem. This is something we need to fight there, and you can see Nick Hendrickson on here. He's in a very vulnerable position. He's one of those individuals that should not be running a bill like this, and I can really see this biting him come, is it 2026 or 2028 when he's up for reelection?
I believe Senator Hendrickson is up in 26. I think it's one of the biggest seats that Republicans can win in the state Senate. So, really encourage people to keep an eye on what Senator Hendrickson does in terms of his votes and his bill sponsorship and the narrative that they're giving these politically connected nonprofits taxpayer money to deal with these programs is something people should be concerned about for sure.
Absolutely.
So, definitely a bad bill, a serious bill, of some serious concerns there. Of course, the biggest bill of this legislative session, as we all know, Michael, is going to be this House bill, Senate Bill 3, excuse me, the wide ranging gun ban. So, for those of you who don't know, these anti gun legislators want to ban every single rifle, long gun, basically rifle and shotgun that uses a detachable magazine. They want to outlaw them for sale, for purchase. It's absolutely egregious assault on our rights. But this Friday, February 7th, in the Senate as of the whole Senate we'll be hearing this bill. So we're really hopeful that cooler heads will prevail and the state Senate will vote this bill down. I think the Senate will pass it, but I'm really hoping that we have enough votes in the state Senate to kill Senate Bill 3. And this is another all hands on deck scenario where we have until Friday, February 7th to reach out to all of these state senators and really encourage them to be a no vote, especially on the Democrat side. I imagine, of course, all the Republicans are going to vote no. But if there's a couple senators on the Democratic side that'll flip, it could mean the end of this bill. And that's really what we're hoping for.
And I want people to, I want to let people know that while there is a lot of co-sponsorship on this bill, that was done intentionally because of what happened in the last 2 years with the House assault weapons bans. Uh, Not all those senators read the bill. They didn't realize what they were signing on to. They were just told what to sign. So, while yes, it might look like it's impossible, reach out to them anyway, because you never know what you're going to say that might change that individual's mind. So, please reach out to these people, let them know that this is a real problem. One thing I want to let people know is I've been speaking a lot with a lot of people. I work in Broomfield, and there's a lot of people who are rather progressive. And one of the big things that they are very concerned about, particularly one of the individuals I sit next to, is Project 2025. I mean, it's been it's something that you can look at as conspiratorial. There's no real, in my opinion, there's no real teeth to it. But if Project 2025 is real and these people are concerned about Project 2025, then maybe these people need to hold on to their guns and their gun rights. So it's something I would encourage these people to, if they really believe that Donald Trump is that much of a threat to Coloradans in Colorado, then Democrats need to hold on to their guns. You're
Definitely, gun ownership is a bipartisan issue. Protects the most vulnerable in our society, and all the legislators down there should support the right to keep and bear arms and the right of individuals to protect their families. So, we really hope that Senate Bill 3 fails, and definitely encourage people to reach out to really every state senator down there at the Capitol and really encourage them to be a no vote on this bill. So that's some of the big bills this week. Went a little bit over there in time of what we thought, but nonetheless, really important stuff, really important bills being heard. So to continue on here, we've been looking, Michael, at some of the other bills this session. So these are bills that not necessarily are being heard this week, but bills that liberty-minded Coloradans should be keeping an eye on. And unfortunately, we just saw House Bill 1074, which is a great bill to repeal the failed caged egg law. Unfortunately, was killed this last week. So really unfortunate to see that. And then we have House Bill 1051 coming up this week. So hopefully we see some good movement there. But just going through some of the other bills here that are going to be heard sometime this session. We talked about the tax incentive for film festivals this week. Michael, what do you think about House Bill 1010, the prohibiting price gouging?
uh, while there might be good intentions behind that bill, it's actually just going to lead to food shortages, particularly when it comes to groceries. I'm just thankful that we don't have more restrictive price gouging policies in place in Colorado right now, because while we are running into a food shortage now when it comes to eggs, imagine how much worse it would be if they couldn't raise the price. There would be no more eggs left in Colorado. So, uh, I they're looking at a we're basically looking at a problem Democrats created within the economy, and they want to make it even worse with this bill.
Definitely, yeah. 1010 is an absolutely disastrous bill. Totally economic ignorance is on full economic ignorance is on display with this one. So really hope it fails. We need people speaking out against it. So check that out. I just published an article on freestatecolorado.com this week from Frank, who's one of our regulars up at Northern Colorado Liberty on the Rocks. So definitely encourage people to check that out as well. Going through the list here, interesting bill as well as House Bill 1031 for law enforcement whistleblower protection. We're hoping to see that one pass and get some more details on it. Of course, it's important that people in law enforcement are free to report on issues they find without fear of retaliation. And then we're really excited to see nuclear energy as a clean energy resource. That's something that is a long time coming, and really encouraged that this is continuously being brought up. It's kind of a niche issue on some level, but at the same time, it's an issue that's been fought for years and years and years. So hopefully we'll see some movement this year. We do have a bipartisan bill with Senator Dylan Roberts and Representative Alex Valdez on the bill. So hopefully we'll see some movement there. Perfect. And then we got absolutely horrendous bill 1044 to create more vehicle registration fees. So we really want to keep people informed about this one because it is a bad bill people should be speaking against to make our vehicle registration even more expensive. And then a good bill here, Michael, a good pro gun bill. Are you how what can you tell us about 1055?
Essentially, last year there was a bill that was enacted to create additional firearms dealers permits. We already have enough on the federal side, but Democrats wanted to create additional on the state side, and this is essentially a bill to repeal all those dealer firearms dealer permit requirements. And I'd love to, with everything going on in Colorado, I'd love to see us go ahead and get and push this one through.
Definitely, yeah. House Bill 1055, a great bill. Don't really see a lot of chances of it passing, unfortunately, but nonetheless, a bill people need to show up and support. People need to be reaching out to their legislators and having those conversations. It's really that public pressure and those conversations that matter, you know? Unfortunately, we saw House Bill 1060 pass in committee last week to create new electronic fence detect systems regulation. So bad bill there. Unfortunately, we're seeing Matt Soper, who's a Republican, his name on a lot of these bad bills. So he definitely needs to be spoken to by people in the liberty community and encouraged to go the opposite direction. Of course, we talked to Representative Ken DeGraaf tonight on House Bill 1067. Great bill there. And then we got some other ones coming up. We had Representative Brandy Bradley join us a couple weeks ago to talk about her House Bill 1073. And what do you think about that? What do people need to know about that one, Michael?
Essentially, there are some pretty soft since there are some pretty soft sentencing requirements for child rape in Colorado. It's extremely concerning. A lot of times people rape a kid and then they just get off with probation, which is absolutely unthinkable. If you do something as horrific as touch a child in an inappropriate way, you should suffer severe consequences. We need to protect the most vulnerable in society from violent crime. I mean, it's a complete violation of the NAP for any libertarian. So I don't see why how any libertarian should be supportive of light sentencing on a horrific act such as rape, let alone child rape. So really hoping we can push this one through because while nonviolent crime should not be prosecuted, we should absolutely be coming at these monsters who are harming children and traumatically harming them for the rest of their lives.
Definitely, definitely 110% there. Really important bill. Really encourage people to show up and speak in support of 1073. Horrible bill that unfortunately did pass its first committee, and that's Senate Bill 5 to make it easier for people to force their coworkers to join unions to create a closed shop and put the pressure on individuals to give up more money out of their paychecks to go to these union bosses. So really bad news there. Senate Bill 5, really hoping that that bill is stopped, but not encouraged on that one. Governor Polis might be the best hope to stop that bill, unfortunately. So he has had some conversations with other people, the legislators, and he's not entirely pleased with it. So we're really hoping that he stops Senate Bill 5. It'd be a great veto on his part. All right, moving on here to tenant and landlord law enforcement. This is going to basically turn the attorney general into a somebody who's going after landlords across the state of Colorado, get involved in these disputes between landlords and tenants. Of course, we see Marbury and some of these other legislators there, like Woodrow, who have been totally fighting the fight against landlords and property owners since they were elected or appointed. And it's really unfortunate because all they're doing is making it harder for people to rent their property, which means less likely to see properties available. Of course, shortages mean higher prices and less availability. So bad news there for sure. What do you think, Michael, about Senate Bill 47 here? You think there's any chance that might pass?
I think if there ever was a chance for this to pass, it would pass now, at least with the when you look at current trends. Uh, you look at the comments of our governor saying we are not a sanctuary city, which honestly contradicted Colorado law. But I mean, there is a lot of public pressure, but for something like this as of this moment. But I still don't think it's gonna pass. There's too many people who are rather radical to see something like this pass. So, um, yeah, I think this gets killed in committee. How about you?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's going to happen. That the Democratic majority is not going to do anything to follow federal immigration law. Of course, now it's a political issue. It's not just a safety issue or a constitutional issue or an issue about protecting the people that are citizens. It's about fighting back against Trump. So they're going to do everything that possible, in my mind, to stop federal immigration enforcement here in Colorado. So yeah, it's I do thank these legislators for bringing this bill forward because you'll get Democrats voting no on this bill, and I think that's important for the public to see. So, important there as well.
And you'll notice
Moving,
this is,
yeah,
oh, one last thing I'll say is that's not a new law. It's just supporting the current enforcement of excuse me, it's supporting enforcement of current law, and that's all it's doing. Yet we're gonna see people push back against it.
exactly, exactly. Of course, we talked about Senate Bill 3, one of the worst bills in Colorado history here, the big gun ban. Senate Bill 33, we did talk about that's being heard this week. Unfortunately, um, that bill might be making it through. Really concerned about this bill, of course. Definitely need to reach out to Senator Pelton again on this one because this seems to be the biggest change to Colorado marijuana law in years. And it seems like bad stuff. They want to basically create new packaging guidelines. They want to restrict 21-year-olds from purchasing certain types of marijuana, making them have to be 25 now. I mean, this is not what the voters approved back when they made cannabis legal. And it's bad news for sure. I'm really disappointed in Senate Bill 76, and we'll see. Hopefully, there's enough public pressure to fight it. I'm not sure that there will be, but nonetheless, this is a situation I think where liberty-minded individuals, libertarians can really make an impact.
And Senator Amabile and Rep. Kyle Brown are rather progressive, so it's odd to see progressives becoming drug warriors.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, they're not on the side of the people of Colorado who want to use these substances, and it's really shameful. All right. And Michael, I know you've been looking into Senate Bill 86. This is probably one of the more nefarious bills we've seen this year. What can you tell us about it?
This is essentially 1984 for social media. They want to control essentially what they want social media uh, platforms to do is basically spy to the government for the government. And then also they're trying to limit what you can talk about and what you can buy and sell online as well. So if they don't like it, you can't do it, and they want to report. They want social media outlets to report on you, a free individual.
Oh, yeah. Senate Bill 86 needs to stop. Unfortunately, we see Republican Senator Lisa Frizzell. Last year, she was also in favor of some more restrictions and regulations on social media, but it's not the proper role of government. They should not be involved in this. And of course, any attempt to censor what happens online should be totally stopped in its tracks for sure. We'll keep an eye on this one. Don't know too much about Senate Bill 79, but wanted to bring it up because it's one of the few cryptocurrency bills we've seen this year. They want to create this Colorado Vending of Digital Assets Act, basically, where they want to control how Bitcoin vending machines and things work. So, interesting bill there. We'll keep an eye on for sure. Now, also extremely concerned about Senate Bill 77. Unfortunately, here we go. Matt Soper again, a Republican legislator from the Western Slope. He's been on some of these really bad bills, and they want to make it harder for people to get open records from the government. Cora is the Colorado Open Records Act, and it is an amazing tool for individuals to use to see what's happening in our government offices. And any attempt by these legislators to restrict or modify Cora to prevent us from knowing what's going on in the government is totally wrong and needs to be opposed.
Couldn't agree more.
So, Senate Bill 77, definitely bad news there. Of course, we talked a little bit about the regulation of kratom bill. Was still not sold that that's a good bill. Hopefully, hopefully that one gets stopped, but nonetheless, there we go. A couple more here. We talked about the Senate Bill 57, which we're going to see go through committee this week and probably get killed, but nonetheless, an important bill for people to be aware of. So many of the news media does not report on these bills. There's so much that's going on down there at the state capitol that people are just totally unaware of. And the voters need to know, the voters need to be aware, and people need to understand what's happening in our state government. We did talk a little bit about the premium cigar excise tax rate. I just do hope it passes. It'd be great to see lower taxes on any tobacco product, but nonetheless, just one of those little carve out bills that a legislator puts forward to benefit themselves. So interesting stuff there. We talked about Senate Bill 1006 previously. That's being heard this week or heard last week and did pass. Bad bill, though, to allow school property to be used for affordable housing and solar farms for unlimited lease terms. So bad stuff there for sure. Any thoughts on that one, Michael?
Oh, I think it's kind of absurd. I mean, I listened to the committee on this one, and it was really weird how you had a lot of Republicans talking about local control, but this is out of the scope. Garden lease, uh, garden leases for solar is absolutely absurd. Um, it has nothing to do with schools, and it should have been killed right on the spot. This is an excuse to weasel more money in for these failing public schools like Jefferson County, who have enacted terrible policies for their kids for decades now, and they're suffering the consequences, but they are refusing to take the lessons that they are being forced to learn. And yeah, I mean, this should have been killed. It wasn't, and the fight continues. So the next step is to contact once this passes, or if this actually passes the House, to start contacting senators, let them know this is a bad bill that government should have nothing to do with.
Definitely. I see E in the chat asking about this bill. And yeah, this is a bill that the teachers' unions are pushing because they want to turn these closed schools and some school property into affordable housing, possibly for teachers. And it's absolutely ridiculous. And unfortunately, we have a Republican, Representative Hartsook, co-sponsoring the bill. And if anybody has a Representative Hartsook's ear, please tell him to stop supporting this terrible piece of legislation. Another interesting bill here, House Bill 1140. That's freshman Representative Jarvis Cardwell and Veteran Senator Rod Pelton there, disclosing information to immigration authorities concerning authorizing probation employees to disclose information to immigration authorities for certain individuals. Of course, some of these people who are in this country illegally who commit crimes of property or violent crimes probably should be held accountable. But unfortunately, our Democrats in the legislature, like we spoke up previously, are not going to support anything to enforce immigration law. That is 100% certain. Now, another bill from warrior Representative Randy Bradley. She is a fighter down there at the Capitol. And, retail theft has gone off the charts here in Colorado in recent years. It's been absolutely terrible, devastating Denver metro area businesses. So she wants to clamp down on retail theft, retail property crimes, increasing penalties, making sure that these people get thrown and locked away. And so, defending people's property rights, hard to argue there. Of course, I haven't looked too much into the penalties that she's trying to push, so we'll have to see there exactly what they look like. But nonetheless, good effort to try and protect some of these businesses from all these thieves.
The last thing we want to turn into is a San Francisco where they say that they're not even going to enforce, you know, um, crime penalties against an individual who stole $950 or less. Um, that that's the thing I'm concerned about happening in Colorado. So um, you can't steal from another person. I mean, that's theft. Again, that's a NAP violation. Because I know libertarians, we as libertarians we love to see criminal justice reform, but you can't steal from people. I mean, it's just absolutely absurd that uh, that a libertarian might want to um, champion softer penalties for stuff like this. So let's hope this one passes and we can support Rep Bradley.
Definitely. Definitely. A couple more here. I thought this one was really interesting. We've seen a bill. I don't know if people saw this. We talked about it last week. It was heard in committee. It was immediately, they killed it. The sponsors just killed the bill. But that last week's bill was to prohibit lab-based meat. Now we see a new bill from Representative Scott Bottoms that he just introduced to ban insects for human consumption. So, of course, the eating the bugs that the World Economic Forum is pushing on us, right? They want to get rid of our beef. There's these globalist agendas, as people I'm sure have heard. If you're online, you've probably heard this over the last few years, that they want to get rid of meat and have us just eat insects because it's better for the environment, right? So Representative Scott Bottom says, well, let's just outlaw the for the production of insects for human consumption. So I don't know that that's a pro liberty bill. I mean, if people want to eat bugs, let them. But nonetheless, I thought it was an interesting bill. I did not expect to see this one, this bill being introduced this year.
No, I agree.
Another interesting one, freshman Representative Max Brooks definitely wants to be a champion for election integrity and liberty, sponsoring House Bill 1143. Concerning the requirement that any voting system used in an election in the state incorporate open source software. It seems transparency in our elections would go a long way towards restoring people's faith in the integrity of our elections. So I think that's a good move. People should be able to audit these election machines, understand how the code works, and ensure that they are fair and free elections. Of course, I'm sure this bill will be killed on first committee hearing, but nonetheless, good effort from Representative Brooks. All right, two more we got here. We're almost there, folks. Thanks for bearing with us. I don't know what happened with the live stream. YouTube just it crashed from YouTube side. We got it all recorded on Zoom, so we'll upload it directly. But nonetheless, here we go. House Bill 1144 repeal retail delivery fees from Representative Woog. Of course, Representative Dan Woog just recently sent back into the state house by the voters of his district, and he wants to repeal these retail delivery fees. So everybody who orders something off Amazon, DoorDash, etc., has that little 29-cent charge, generating millions and millions of dollars that our state government keeps in quote unquote fees. It's reality a tax, but they get away with it by calling it a fee. And good bill. Really hope 1144 passes, and I hope to see good pro liberty Coloradans speak in support of this bill.
No, I completely agree. I mean, we're hearing a lot of Democrats wake up to the realities of tariffs. So, uh, these fees are the same thing as a tariff. So let's get rid of while we're getting rid of the tariffs, let's get rid of the fees too.
Definitely would love to see it. Now, another interesting bill from Representative Bottoms here, 1145. I mean, he doesn't hold back at all. Definitely a bill to make a statement, but this bill would prohibit the human trafficking of an out of state minor into Colorado for the purpose of assisting the minor in obtaining certain reproductive health care services, such as abortions or transgender care. So it's an unfortunate reality of our country and of Colorado specifically, where Colorado has the most lenient abortion laws in the entire country, where somebody could be doing some bad things with a minor girl and bring her to Colorado to get that abortion because they might not be able to get it in their state that they're from. And this bill would stop that. So this is going to be an interesting discussion in the Judiciary Committee. Very interesting for sure. But nonetheless, I'm sure this bill is dead on arrival. But nonetheless, got to applaud Scott Bottoms for making a point and making a statement.
Yeah, Scott Bottoms has come out with quite a few good bills lately. So, uh, definitely looking forward to monitoring this bill.
Perfect. A couple more here. The list goes on and on, folks. There's a lot of bills to pay attention to this year, and we'll keep you updated. But this one I thought was really interesting because there's so much talk about self-driving cars, especially Tesla, etc. But House Bill 1122 would require a commercial motor vehicle have a human present when that commercial motor vehicle is being driven by an automated driving system. So, of course, I think this bill's kind of trying to solve a problem that hasn't really been created, but the idea yet. But the idea is, you have these commercial vehicles operated entirely automated to actually require a person to be present. I don't know where I fall on this bill. I don't necessarily think I would support it as a pro-liberty individual, but nonetheless, I thought it'd be an interesting one to bring to people's attention. I'd really be excited about House Bill 1121, which would allow the option for somebody to register their trailer, basically a permanent trailer registration, where they can have it registered for the entire time up until you sell it or transfer it to another person. So that would be interesting stuff. So good stuff there. Keep an eye on that one for sure. And I think that's. Oh, we got a couple more here. There's a few more bills, Michael. The list goes on and on and on. But nonetheless, this is Carlos Barone, freshman representative there. Register and drive military surplus vehicles. So right now, you're not able to get your military vehicle. If you buy a military surplus vehicle, get it registered and drive it on roads, state roads. So this would allow you to do so. So interesting stuff there. Love to see some cool military vehicles that are sold to individuals be able to be on the state roads. That'd be pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Another horrible bill led by Representative House Majority Leader Monica Duran. Her war on the working class continues by trying to create a harder capability for people to buy ammunition. Absolutely terrible, terrible, terrible stuff, and really bad bill. So people need to keep an eye out for this one for House Bill 1133, an anti-ammunition bill, an anti-gun bill. They want to totally deprive you of your ability to defend yourself and your family.
I'm really concerned that Kyle Mullica is on this one. I mean, Kyle Mullica last year was the one representative or senator that was pushing back against what became Prop KK, and then our buddy, our probably best friend, Lorena Garcia, went online and started gaslighting him and claiming that he doesn't care about those victims in need of who suffer from domestic abuse and domestic violence. And then he completely caved. Told them we'll go ahead and lower the tax and I'll support it. And then it ended up passing as a poll tax. Uh, so now to see him on this is extremely disappointing.
Definitely, yeah. Kyle Mullica is no friend to Coloradans, that's for sure. Thought this was an interesting bill. Saw this in the news today to limit turf in residential development. Of course, water is a major issue here in Colorado. Of course, the governor and others keep pushing all this high density housing, even though we don't have the water for it. So their solution here is to restrict people having grass yards. Let's just have everything um, be controlled by our state government to say you can't have the landscaping you want at the point of a gun here with the state law. So bad stuff. We'll keep an eye on House Bill 1113. This one just got introduced, so we'll keep an eye on it as well. And then in line with the same kind of thinking, freshman Representative Stewart there wants to prevent local municipalities and local counties from their anti-growth land use policies, as she would call it. These local governments who want to preserve the quality of life in their communities. I'm all about decentralization and allowing local communities to make their own decisions. But of course, people like Representative Stewart want to have this top-down control where the whole state is controlled by Denver. So unfortunate there.
I'm very concerned about what's going to happen in the free city of Keensburg.
Right, right. Oh yeah. And then in the chat, Finest City Cycling was asking like the ammo bill might ban online sales too. Is that correct? And I am not certain. Definitely need to look into that. Couple more here. We're almost done, folks. But House Bill 1100. Uh, this is interesting. Stephanie Luck is definitely one of our Liberty leaders down at the state capitol. So this bill would modify how vacancy committees operate It would change it up slightly. It's not a total reworking of how vacancies, how people are appointed through the vacancy process, but it is a slight change to statute, which potentially would be a good thing in terms of making sure that people are more representative of their district to be appointed in these vacancies. So very curious to see that one. I know there's definitely some bipartisan support for reforming vacancy committees, so we'll be interested to see how that one goes. And then we already did talk about House Bill or Senate Bill 77 there as well. And last one here, folks. Last one. Thank you for bearing with us. Everybody who's still here gets a gold star for sure. Appreciate you all. But this is county mail ballot signature verification requirements. So interesting to see. Happy to see that freshman representative Chris Richardson, former Elbert County Commissioner, is in there trying to really fight for election integrity, fight for his county, fight for the people in his district by requiring a little bit more scrutiny for election verification in these mail ballots. Of course, Colorado with mail-in ballots raises a lot of concerns about the potential for cheating. So trying to create some stricter requirements potentially could be a good thing. So bipartisan election judges to verify the signatures, would be a step in the right direction, if you ask me.
Completely agree. I mean, I mentioned it earlier with our current Secretary of State. There's a lot of concerns about we have a lot of concerns in our state about what they consider to be the gold standard of elections in the United States.
Definitely. Definitely. Well, that's what we got, folks. Really appreciate everybody. We had great conversations. Representative DeGraaf is impressive as always. Such interesting information, and really appreciate him joining us. Michael, any final thoughts here as we kind of wrap it up tonight?
The only thing I want to say, we're really getting into the thick of a lot of these bills. We're seeing them really come down. I know last week there were 72 bills that were planned to be heard in committee hearings, and it's gonna keep on going from here. Because remember, if we're hearing 700 bills, they've got to be heard in committee twice. Sometimes they're being heard in appropriations as well. So keep up the fight. There as long as we're fighting, we still have a chance, and even if the thing passes, there's still a chance. So um, keep it up, don't give up, and the only way Colorado gets worse is if we start giving up. So keep in the fight, and let's start looking towards the future and seeing how what and looking for the things that we can do, not the things that we can't right now.
110%. Couldn't agree with you more. People got to just get more involved, show up, get this information out there, become an active participant in our state legislature and your local government. That's the only way we're going to make a change. We just need more liberty minded, freedom thinking people to have a voice, to stand up, to speak out, because the alternative is not great. So awesome, Michael. Really appreciate you, sir. Thank you for everything. Apologize to people out there for the live stream issues. Not sure exactly what happened with YouTube, but we'll continue on and we'll see you next week.